Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vic here with my final 2024 NFL mock draft. I did one earlier in the year, but now I'm just doing my final one, trying to get this out as quickly as I can. It's currently 5:18 on draft day. So I'm going to get straight into this. I'm not going to try to yap too much about certain things. There's certain rumors about certain players, but first things first, I want to address Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jayden Daniels are the only first-round QBs, in my opinion. I think someone will be desperate enough to get J.J. McCarthy, but keep in mind last year that there is gas on Will Levis. The top three QBs were Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and it was Anthony Richardson. Then Will Levis was the QB4, and he slid out of the first round despite the gas around him. I don't think J.J. McCarthy will slide out of the first round. I just don't think someone's willing to trade up for him. That's my opinion on that. But anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like and or subscribe. And let's just get straight into this. Caleb Williams, number one. I'm not even going to explain that. Jayden Daniels. It's between Jayden Daniels, Drake May. Everyone knows this. There's been gas around Drake May, but there's so many reports saying it's Jayden Daniels. Last year, there were so many reports saying that the Texans weren't willing to take a QB unless it was Bryce Young, and I'm pretty sure that was just a smoke screen, so I don't know if this is a smoke screen. I don't know why they would be doing that. So for that case, I'm just going to go Jayden Daniels here. Number three, the Patriots. The Patriots said that they are prepared to take Drake May at 3. I don't know what will happen if he goes at number 2. I don't know if they'll trade back, but I don't think New England's going to trade out of this. I personally think that New England should take Marvin Harrison Jr., best player in the draft, in my opinion. But Drake May is going to be going 3 here. And then the Cardinals. They said they would like to move down, but they're not willing to move down unless it's a huge trade. And with the first 3 QBs off the board, I don't think anyone would be willing or stupid enough to give up huge value just to pick a QB4. It's not like they're trading up to number 1 overall. He's the QB4 in the draft. I don't understand the hype on J.J. McCarthy. But anyways, Arizona going to take the best player available in Marvin Harrison Jr. Can I go back and see what my picks are? I guess not. It's fine. Anyways, the Chargers. This is a weird spot. Everyone says they're going to trade down, but Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman apparently are reported, according to Bleacher Report, which is my source, says that they are prepared to take Joe Alt at 5, and it's an icky pick. I really think the Chargers should stick and pick and do Malik Nabers or trade back with the Vikings and potentially get 2 first-round picks and get an offensive tackle and a later receiver like Brian Thomas or Adonai Mitchell, someone like that. But for now, I think I am just going to take not Malik Nabers. I was about to say Malik Nabers because that's who I want them to take. But the sources say Joe Alt, so I am going to take Joe Alt. The Giants here, a lot of people are saying J.J. McCarthy could go at number 6. And the Giants are apparently trying to make a move up to get Drake May. I don't know how huge they are on J.J. McCarthy, but I know they're huge on Drake May, and they've been trying to go after him. But I just think that's the wrong move. I think they're going to say to themselves, hey, do we really want to pay a QB like Daniel Jones around 45 million a year just to have a backup QB and then not give any weapons on this team and then have our next rookie quarterback struggle? I think it would be a stupid move if they did that. I think they should go receiver here. They might go J.J. McCarthy, but I still am going to go with Malik Nabers here. Titans at number 7. You lost your offensive tackle in Joe Alt, who was a big addition, but there's been a lot, and I mean a lot of gas here on offensive tackle J.C. Latham. Wouldn't be surprised if they took him here, and I know it may seem early considering he's projected pick number 18 here, or rank pick on the big board, number 18, however you want to phrase that. I'm going to take J.C. Latham for the Titans here. Atlanta at number 8 here. This could be a weird spot. I think this is where I'm going to be making a trade. I'm going to do a trade between Minnesota and I'm going to be doing a trade between Atlanta. Now, I don't think the Vikings will give up their 2 first just to move up all these spots here, but they don't pick again till later. So I'm going to give up a next year second, and it says it's too much here for it. So sure, just give up. I can't force the trade through on this app for some reason. I'm just going to give up this. Falcons aren't going to give up all this. It's just how you force it. So give up like a next year's second. I still think the Vikings will be able to pick up some good value here, but I do think the Vikings will finally trade up here and then take J.J. McCarthy in their QB here. I don't think he's worth a first-round pick. I think he's the Will Levis of the draft, but there's so many QB-needy teams that I think they'll be desperate enough to do that. Chicago at pick 9. It could be Rome Odunze. My personal opinion, I'm going to take Dallas Turner here. Your defense, other than Montez Sweat, doesn't really have a true defensive player. I mean, Jalen Johnson, too, of course. You got Kevin Byard, which is a nice addition. But still, you want a younger guy here in Dallas Turner on that defense. You still got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. You could have taken Rome Odunze. But still, I think that this is still an amazing value pick here for Chicago. Now, next on the board is the New York Jets. They could take Rome Odunze, Brock Bowers. They're in a win-now situation. I've seen a lot of offensive tackles, but you're in a win-now situation. That window is closing for Aaron Rodgers for him to eventually retire. You need to put talents around him and make the heavy push. I'm going to take Rome Odunze here for the New York Jets. Atlanta at number 11 now, and this they could have taken Dallas Turner at pick number 8, which wouldn't have been a bad move, but I'm going to take Laiatu Latu. He's been linked to them. I think he would be a really sick addition for the Atlanta Falcons, so he's going to go there at number 11. Pick number 12, a lot of people see this as a trade down spot for Denver, but if you're going to go $80 million in dead cap just to draft a QB, if you're that desperate for a QB, I think they're going to take one here. They're going to take Michael Penix. I don't think he's worth a first rounder. I love Michael Penix. He's a great player in my opinion, but I don't think he's a first rounder. He has injury concerns. He apparently has an awkward throwing motion. I didn't look at his film personally. That's just what I've been reported. But if you're willing to go $80 million in dead cap, you're desperate enough to take a day 2 prospect in round 1. But Vegas at pick number 13. I think they will go with an offensive tackle here, specifically a right tackle, so that way they don't have to move around Colton Miller or their left tackle. So I'm going to take the offensive tackle out of Oregon State for the Las Vegas Raiders. New Orleans at pick number 14. A lot of people are saying it's a surefire thing that they will take an offensive tackle here at pick number 14. Trevor Penning has been awful for the Saints. It may take some time to develop, but I'm going to go Jared Verse. You know, Cam Jordan's getting old. You picked Peyton Turner for some reason in the first round. He sucks. And then Jared Verse here at pick number 14. I think that would be a great addition to the very old and aging Saints defense with Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan. Do they still have Marcus May at strong safety? They might. Either way, the Saints have an extremely old defense. I think they need to beef it up. Yes, they did get Chase Young in the offseason, and yes, I know that, but it's still only a 1-year deal, and Chase Young is injury prone. So I'm going to have Jared Verse going to the New Orleans Saints. And then the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of people have Brock Bowers going here. I really like Mo Alley-Cox in real life. I think he's a very solid tight end, very fast actually. But if you have this kind of talent on the board with the Colts, you could go receiver here, but with this kind of talent with Brock Bowers, if you have Brock Bowers here, they're going to take him at pick number 15. Great receiving target. You could go double tight end set with Mo Alley-Cox. And then Seahawks at pick number 16. They did get Big Cat Leonard Williams for their defensive tackle position. I could even see them going offensive tackle with Charles Cross, but Abraham Lucas wasn't bad either. But Terrion Arnold, I mean, getting Terrion Arnold with Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon would be sick, but I know they're not going to do that. Brian Thomas, imagine. That would be crazy. An offensive tackle wouldn't be a bad move here, but I still think they're going to go with defensive line, best defensive lineman on the board here, Byron Murphy out of Texas. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick number 17, and I do think they should go with Terrion Arnold here. That wouldn't be a bad pick, but Brian Thomas definitely seems like a doable option here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But now Tyson Campbell is so good on the Jaguars, the defensive back. But I'm going to take, since it's the best player available, I'm going to take Terrion Arnold out of Alabama for the Jaguars. I definitely could see a receiver there, but with the way the board fell, I just think that's how it is. Then the Bengals are on the clock. I'm going to take Johnny Newton here. They did lose DJ Reader, and also Trey Hendrickson requested a trade, so I can see that. We could see Brandon Ayuk get traded tonight. So that's something to look for. Then here for the Rams at pick number 19, I really like Chop Robinson here, but at the same time, their offensive line is atrocious. They have Rob Havenstein at right tackle. I think Steve Avala, if I mispronounced that, sorry, their left guard. He was a rookie this year. He's going into year number 2. But Joseph Noteboom, I don't think he's good enough to get it done. With a great offensive tackle, left tackle on the board out of Penn State, I'm going to take him for the Los Angeles Rams. Need to keep protecting Matthew Stafford. He gets injured quite often. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they could take Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo here. I honestly don't know too much about him, but honestly, I don't think it's a bad move for the Steelers to take a defensive back despite trading for Dante Jackson. But with how this board is, I think they're going to take Brian Thomas. You got Pat Freiermuth. You got George Pickens. But past that, you have Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, Marquez Callaway. Who cares? You need another receiver for potentially Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I don't really think they're going to do anything with the Steelers. That defense is amazing for the Steelers, but I personally don't think the Steelers are going to do anything in that offense because, sorry, Steelers fans, but Justin Fields is a poor passer and Russell Wilson is beyond washed. I mean, well, not completely, I would say. Compared to his prime, he's washed, but in terms of actual play, last year he was solid for the Broncos. He wasn't worth his contract, but for $1.2 million, it was a nice signing. I still don't know what the Steelers are going to do overall with their offense. But anyways, not trying to trash on them, just saying they need a receiver and they need to build around potentially their guy in Justin Fields, if that is their guy. I don't know. But Miami here, there's actually been links to Xavier Worthy to Miami at pick number 21 here. I think that would be unbelievably stupid if they did that, but there's been a lot of links to Xavier Worthy. That could be a possible option, and I could see offensive tackle here, but I think I'm going to take Quinyon Mitchell to the Miami Dolphins here just because they did lose Xavier Howard, and they do need some more defensive backs, so I'm going to take him there. And then with pick number 22 for the Eagles, a lot of defensive backs have been mocked here to the Eagles, but I got to go with Burger Boy. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if you guys have seen that clip, Jackson Powers Johnson to the Eagles. Your center just retired in Jason Kelsey. The tush push is extremely effective for the Eagles. You need to keep that effectiveness within the offense and then keep filling in plug-and-play center Jackson Powers Johnson. He could be arguably the best offensive lineman in the class. I know people say Joe Alt, J.C. Latham, yada, yada, yada. But interior offensive lineman, I think he's the best in the class, despite this having Graham Barton over him, even though he plays offensive tackle or guard. But for Minnesota, at pick 23, they picked J.J. McCarthy. They could go offensive tackle here to pick him, but I do think they need defensive back so desperately. They need to fix that secondary so bad. Hitman, Harrison Smith, he's getting older. Cooper DeJean to the Minnesota Vikings. I like that a lot there. And then Dallas, it needs to be offensive tackle. I could see them doing something really stupid here, but I think it needs to be offensive tackle. They lost Tyron Smith. They don't really have a crazy offensive line right now. I think it needs to be fixed a little bit. There's been rumors about them taking a quarterback. I think that'll happen in the later rounds because Dak Prescott is on his final year of his contract. They're not going to re-sign him. Probably going to tag and trade him at the end of the year. But Packers at pick 25, I think, of course, they should take a receiver, even though there's not really much receivers here on the board, so I think they'll pass on that. So they'll probably take a defensive back and just give Jordan Love the bird. But in my opinion, they should take a left tackle. They lost David Bakhtiari, and their right tackle situation isn't good. They have Elton Jenkins. Then past that, their O-line is kind of trash. So I'm going to take Amarius Mims here out of Georgia. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they could go interior offensive line, get Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. That wouldn't be a bad spot for him. But they did just trade Carlton Davis. They need help in their secondary. I'm going to take Nate Wiggins here out of Clemson. Arizona, on the clock, they took Marvin Harrison Jr., A-plus pick apparently to this thing, but I think they're going to take Chop Robinson. I think he's so athletic. You're getting like another version of Hassan Reddick. Hopefully you can actually develop this version of him instead of trading him to the Eagles. Well, letting him, did they trade him or did they let him hit free agency? He probably hit free agency. But Chop Robinson to Arizona I think would be a great fit. And then Buffalo here, they could take Graham Barton. He could play offensive tackle, but they need a receiver. Like, it's so bad. They desperately need a receiver. I think their number one is Curtis Samuel. I'm going to take Adonai Mitchell. He's got the size. Some people may take Xavier Worthy, but he's definitely got the size to be the receiver one, so I think I'm going to put him in Buffalo. Then Detroit here, you could take a plethora of things. They could take Darius Robinson. It could be Kool-Aid McKinstry. Definitely could be. I think they will take. They took some interesting picks last year with Jack Campbell in the middle of the first, even though he was projected a late first, then a day 2 guy in Jahmyr Gibbs, who ended up working out very nicely for them at pick number 12. He was definitely projected to be a second-round pick, but still, it worked out great for them. I think they're going to take the weird pick here and Darius Robinson out of Mizzou here. I think he's still really good, definitely first-round talent worthy, but having him, DJ Reader, and Aiden Hutchinson all on your defensive line with Aleem McNeil, who's pretty underrated, I think that's going to be a great defensive line for the Detroit Lions. They're going to stack that position up there. Baltimore Ravens, I could see Tyler Guyton or Kool-Aid McKinstry here. I would like either of those. As a Ravens fan, I don't want a receiver in the first round. I think we definitely need to prioritize defensive back or offensive tackle. And didn't whatchamacallit, why am I blanking? Did Trent Brown come from Oklahoma? Not Trent Brown, Orlando Brown. Didn't he come from Oklahoma as a right tackle? We could just go back to that. I could just be completely wrong about that. I'll have to look that up later. But for right now, I think we're going to go back to our Alabama defensive backs. Marlon Humphrey's an Alabama defensive back. We're going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think that would be sick for the Ravens. I would love that pick. Or Tyler Guyton would be pretty sick if he was there too. From the San Francisco 49ers, they're looking to trade Brandon Ayuk. They could go receiver here. I think they should go offensive tackle. But overall, I think they're going to end up going receiver here. And I think I'm going to take Ladd McConkey out of Georgia here for the San Francisco 49ers just because technically they've been getting calls about Deebo Samuel. They're not going to trade him, but I think they will end up trading Brandon Ayuk because he doesn't like his situation. He wants to get paid now. And then the Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock and they need receiver. It has to be receiver here. And I think that receiver, I would like Troy Franklin to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Troy Franklin is better than Keon Coleman in my personal opinion, even though I'm an FSU fan. But I think he is the cousin of CeeDee Lamb, if you guys didn't know that. And for those of you guys saying, oh, what does that matter? Not generational, NFL talent within like the bloodline is a real thing. Like some people can work day and night, try so hard to be so good at the sport, but they just don't have the NFL talent to be at that level. Saying that someone is a certain relative of an NFL player, that actually does contribute to different draft stocks. Like Luke McCaffrey coming into the draft, since he's related, obviously the brother of Christian McCaffrey, his draft stock is going to skyrocket. He looks like a great player anyways. But anyways, I know this seems like so stupid to reason Keon Coleman over Troy Franklin, but I'm going to take Keon Coleman here to the Kansas City Chiefs, and this will be my final mock draft. And for some reason, it looks like, no, I'm not going to disable my ad blocker. Yeah, I don't want your ads. Anyways, Caleb Williams, USC, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. I'm just going to scroll through this, and then you guys can see this final mock draft. Obviously, there's some parts here like Michael Penix at 12. Probably not going to do that, but this is what we got for the draft. Only made one trade, just Vikings trading up to get J.J. McCarthy, swapping with the Falcons. And I think this is definitely not a bad draft. I'm not too unhappy with what I have here. The only thing I'm really unhappy about would be Michael Penix, because this could be a trade back spot for the Broncos, but the Broncos do dumb shit every year, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did this. But anyways, guys, apart from that, I thank you guys all for watching. Let's see how this draft goes. I'm going to be really excited if the Ravens draft Tyler Guyton or not, any type of offensive tackle. I'd be fine with that. I really want Kool-Aid McKinstry, so I know some of you guys may be like, oh, you forced the Lions to get Darius Robinson to pick Kool-Aid McKinstry. I might have done that, but at the same time, Darius Robinson definitely isn't a bad move for the Lions. Either way, this is what I got going on for the team. Well, not for the team. I usually say that for my Madden rebuilds, but for my mock draft, my final one. And apart from that, guys, thank you guys all once again for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.